Hello, lovers. I just want to welcome you guys back to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe at the bottom. And yeah, so basically today, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about my coming out story. The story that most gay people go through, the story that most gay people enjoy hearing. Everybody's coming out story is different. So yeah, let's dive right in. Okay, so basically, I kind of always knew that I was gay. Ever since like the third grade, I had a crush on this guy named Michael Riddles, and he was like, yeah, he just gave me a compliment, and ever since then I was just like, oh my god, I kind of like dudes. But I mean, I started off into women. I did. I was very into like animated women, such as Christy from Tekken, and Starfire, and basically typical nerd kid type things. But I knew deep down that I did in fact like men ever since I was like really little, in the third grade, that is. And basically, yeah, I ended up, coming out as an adult because I felt as though if I was grown and I wasn't living under anyone's roof, that I was afraid to tell that, there wouldn't be any consequences. I was kind of ready for the whole, oh, we will never talk again type whole shebang. So, yeah, and I ended up telling my cousins first, because my cousins are like my best friends, and I told my cousin Bobby, and basically I called her and I'm like, hey, I'm all upset, and she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I need to talk to you. And then so I'm basically like, yeah, so I'm gay. And she's basically just like, okay, like you woke me up out of my sleep to tell me that, like, all right, like. And it kind of felt good for her to have that type of reaction, because she didn't make it seem like it was a big deal. She was just like, okay, whatever, and then I told my cousin Troy, and she was basically like, I was like, yeah, so I'm gay. And she's like, oh my god, we can talk about boys now? And I'm like, really, bitch? Like, that is what you're most excited for? Like, she's like, yeah, like, oh my god, so listen, there's this guy, and da da da. So then she just dives into like, Troy was just like, I have a gay person, I have like, my cousin's gay, so I can talk about boys, I have somebody to talk about boys with, and so that was great. And honestly, everybody else kind of just found out on a whim. Like, it was more so, the most important people to me were my cousins. And, once I told them, I kind of didn't care about what anyone else had to say. It came out to my aunt, which is one of the people who raised me. And basically she just called me and she's like, hey, are you gay? Like, and I was like, yeah, like, yeah. And then she's like, well, okay, it's fine, why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, because I was scared. Like, yeah. Then people are just very it's a very frightening thing, because it's not normalized. Even though it's normal, it's not. And it dates back way past Christianity and stuff like that. Like, people were gay, and it's it's not normal in society, and so you're scared. And it just, yeah, it's kind of hard. But once I like started telling my family and things like that, the more I stopped caring about the world. When I finally got around to telling my mom kind of knew, of course, like all mothers do, and she was just basically like, you know, I felt like my older sister kind of cushioned it for me, because my older sister is, you know, also a part of the LGBTQ plus. Yeah, so my older sister kind of broke the ice when it came to, like, you know, homosexuality and, you know, things like that. And then so with me, you know, once I told my mom's like, well, we accepted your sister, we have to accept you. And, you know, in which she did. You know, my mom still basically, you know, treated me like I was her son. She didn't really switch up on me or anything like that. Yeah, and then it came around to my dad. Once I told my father, okay, so the truth is behind me telling my father acted like he was cool with it, but I knew he wasn't. Like, my dad was like, oh, you know, whatever, like, okay, cool. But my dad would just do things that would signal to me that, you know, he was not, like, okay with it. Like, for instance, like, he would just be mad at me for doing gay shit or ordering gay stuff, such as mesh underwear. You know, me and my dad have the same name, so, like, I used to live with him, and, like, I ordered some, like, I call them hoe draws, but I ordered some, like, risque underwear, and he opened it and he's like, what the fuck is this? Like, and then so it, you know, I was like, they're for me, they're mine. Like, and, you know, he's like, why do you have underwear like that? And I'm like, why else would I have underwear like this? Like, it's not rocket science. But yeah, and I would notice that things like that bothered him. Like, you know, if I would go hang out with a guy or something, he'd be like, where are you going? Who is this? And, you know, it would just be like, oh, why are you taking those underwear? And I'm like, why does it matter what underwear I take? Like, mind your business. But yeah, so I kind of knew it was it kind of bothered him a little bit. And now, you know, me and my dad are perfectly fine and things like that. I just knew there was kind of, you know, an issue with him accepting it. And it's totally fine because he accepts it now. My dad loves me. I love my dad. We're cool. Me and my parents are cool. I basically am lucky enough I didn't really have a horrible coming out. You know, I didn't have the hatred, or at least not to my face, or not that I know of. I didn't experience that hatred. I didn't experience that that harm that my brothers and sisters have experienced, and I am very grateful for that. I'm grateful that I wasn't put out, I wasn't hated, I wasn't any of that by my family, and I am 1,000 times grateful, because I see the coming out stories that some people have, being disowned and, you know, basically being hurt, and, you know, that really hurts. That hurts, because I get it, where it's your family is basically all you have in the world that is tied to you. You know, loyalty does not come from strangers. Loyalty from family is like, it's forever for some family members, you know, for some. But yeah, so it's like when you have that big of a thing sitting on your chest and you can't come to anybody, and especially anybody that is your bloodline, and they don't accept you, that's heartbreaking. And I think as a whole, I just think for those people that have gone through that, I just want to applaud you, because you are strong and you are beautiful, and you literally are just the strongest, like, most awesome fucking person ever. Because it takes a lot to come out, and for the street people that don't know, like, it does. It takes a lot to come out and to live in your truth. It does. And so for those of us that are strong enough to do so, like, it is an act that should be applauded. It is an act that should be amazing. It is an act that should be shown gratitude for, because it is thank you for opening yourself to me. Thank you for opening your heart to my being, you know? And I just want those that are younger than me, the ones that are in the closet now, or the ones that are struggling to want to have someone to talk to, I just want you to know that it's going to be okay, and that there are 7 billion people on this earth, and for everyone that hates you, there are 20 million more that love you. So, including me. I love my younger LGBTQ plus family, and I'm here for all of you. Like, we are a family regardless of if we think so or not, regardless of if we don't like each other, regardless of, when it comes down to it, we are all looked at in a group, and we should embrace that, to just love one another and to just realize that we are a family regardless. And at the end of the day, it's always going to be us that needs to stick together. I feel like Black people as a whole need to stick together, but we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about LGBTQ plus. So, but yeah, I love you guys so much, and just know that whatever it is, you will get through it. You are strong, you are beautiful, you are a being that is their own, and regardless of whatever goes on in life, regardless of whatever happens, there are people there that will be there for you. And so with that being said, I am signing off. I hope you guys have enjoyed my little coming out story. I know it wasn't as deep, but I'm grateful enough to where my coming out story was not a bad one. So with that being said, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.